In a quiet hospital room, Sarah Mitchell sat frozen, her fingers clutching an ultrasound report. Pensive face, the paper trembled in her hands, the words blurring before her eyes. Pregnant, 10 weeks. At 28, Sarah was a dedicated nurse at Mercy General Hospital in Chicago, known for her warm smile and steady hands. But now, her heart pounded with a truth she couldn't grasp. "This can't be right," she whispered, her voice barely audible. I live alone." Dr. Henry Carter, a stern man in his 50s with thinning gray hair, adjusted his glasses and frowned. "Sarah, you're a nurse. You understand what this means. The tests are clear, you're pregnant." His tone carried a hint of doubt, like he was waiting for her to confess something. Sarah shook her head, her throat tight. "I'm telling you, I've never been with anyone. It's impossible." Persevering face, she felt the room shrink around her, the sterile white walls closing in. For weeks, she'd been dizzy, exhausted, barely able to sleep. She'd blamed long shifts, maybe low iron. But this was a nightmare she couldn't wake from. Carter leaned back, his chair creaking. 10 weeks, Sarah. Not 2, not 3, 10. You're sure there's nothing you want to tell me? His eyes searched hers, sharp and accusing. "I'm not lying," Sarah said, her voice cracking. "I don't understand what's happening." Tears stung her eyes, but she blinked them back. She wasn't going to break, not here, not now. Before Carter could respond, the door swung open. Emily Larson, another nurse with a bright smile and tightly braided hair, poked her head in, holding a stack of patient charts. "Sarah, you okay? I heard you were feeling faint." Worried face. Sarah forced a crooked smile, her hands still gripping the ultrasound. "Just a little dizzy." Carter cleared his throat, his voice firm. "Emily, could you step out? I need to speak with Sarah alone." Emily hesitated, her eyes flicking to Sarah with concern, then nodded. "Sure, Dr. Carter." She gave Sarah a reassuring look before slipping out, the door clicking shut behind her. Carter turned back to Sarah, his arms crossed. "You're making people uncomfortable, Sarah. Claiming you're pregnant without, well, you know. It sounds like a story nobody's going to buy." Sarah's jaw tightened. "I'm not making this up. I need answers, blood tests, ultrasound images, everything." Face with steam from nose. Carter's lips pressed into a thin line. "You'll get your results, but I'd advise you to keep this quiet. Our department's under enough pressure without rumors." He paused, his eyes cold. "You know how important reputation is in this hospital. A scandal could ruin you." Sarah's stomach twisted. "Are you threatening me?" "Not a threat," Carter said, stepping toward the door. "Just advice. Think carefully before you stir things up." He opened the door, his voice dropping. "Chief Dr. Vincent Hayes wants to see you this afternoon. He'll explain things more delicately." Sarah sat there, stunned, as the door closed. Her mind raced, replaying Carter's words, the ultrasound, the impossible truth. That afternoon, she made her way to the top floor of Mercy General's Annex building, where Dr. Hayes's office overlooked the city like a king's tower. The air felt heavy, the silence pressing against her as she knocked. "Come in," Hayes called, his voice smooth but guarded. Sarah pushed the door open. Hayes stood by the window, his back to her, his tailored suit sharp against the skyline. He turned, offering a faint smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Sarah, please sit." She sat, her hands clasped tightly to steady herself. "You wanted to see me, Dr. Hayes?" He nodded, settling into his leather chair. "I heard about this morning. News travels fast here." His tone was gentle, but it felt like a trap. "You're pregnant, Sarah. And apparently, you're not happy about it." "I'm not unhappy," Sarah said, her voice firm. "I'm confused. I've never had sex. I don't understand how this is possible." Crying face. Hayes smirked, his fingers drumming on the desk. "Science can be surprising, Sarah. Sometimes things happen we can't explain." "What are you saying?" Sarah leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "Nothing," Hayes said, his smile tightening. "Just that your health comes first. Focus on that, not theories." Sarah's fists clenched. "I'm not staying quiet. I'm going to find out what's going on. Hayes's eyes darkened, but his voice stayed calm. No one's stopping you. But understand this, Sarah, this hospital, this system, it's bigger than you. If you push too hard, you'd better be ready to stand alone. She left his office, her head spinning, his words like a weight on her chest. In the hallway, she nearly bumped into Jake Turner, a hospital tech who always fixed the break room's finicky coffee machine. His easy grin faded when he saw her. Sarah, you okay? You look pale. Worried face. I'm fine, she said, her voice tight. Jake squinted, his California accent warm but cautious. Another rough shift. Yeah, Sarah muttered, forcing a nod. He hesitated, then lowered his voice. I heard you weren't feeling great this morning. If something's wrong, you can tell me. I know you're not one to make stuff up. Sarah met his eyes, searching for sincerity. Thanks, Jake, she said softly. I'll let you know. That night, Sarah lay in bed, the darkness pressing around her. Carter's skepticism, Hayes's warnings, they swirled in her mind like a storm. Fearful face then, like a bolt of lightning, a memory hit her. A night shift, weeks ago. She'd been in the nurse's lounge, her head throbbing like never before. Then, nothing. A blank space where hours should have been. Why can't I remember? She whispered, her heart racing. She sat up, her hands trembling as she grabbed her phone. She typed frantically, pregnancy without intercourse. Unauthorized medical procedures. The search results flooded her screen, articles, forums, none of them quite fitting. Her phone pinged with a text from Emily. Sarah, I know something's up. I'm here if you need me. Don't trust everyone at work. Some doctors aren't what they seem. Sad but relieved face. Sarah stared at the message, her pulse quickening. Thanks, Em, she murmured, a spark of determination igniting inside her. She called Emily, her voice shaky. Em, I can't sleep. Have you ever felt, watched? Like someone's pulling strings behind your back? Emily paused, her voice soft but serious. Are you talking about the baby? Sarah, if you swear you didn't, then I believe you. Sarah exhaled, relief mixing with fear. I remember something now. A night shift, a few weeks ago, 5th floor lounge. I had this awful headache, then, nothing. I woke up the next morning with a tiny bruise on my arm. I thought it was nothing, but now, anxious face with sweat. A bruise. Emily's voice sharpened. Like a needle mark. It was so small, Sarah said, her voice trembling. I ignored it. But now I'm scared. Emily's tone turned urgent. Have you done a blood test yet? I'm going to, Sarah said. But not here. I don't trust Mercy General anymore. Smart, Emily said. Sarah, be careful. This sounds wrong. 2 days later, Sarah drove to a private lab on the edge of Chicago, her backpack heavy with a test tube of her own blood. She met Dr. Lena Patel, a molecular biologist Emily had connected her with. Lena's dark eyes were kind but piercing. I need to compare my DNA with the fetuses, Sarah said, her voice low. Can you do it? Lena studied her, then nodded. It's not easy, but it's possible. I'll need a fetal sample. Are you sure about this? Sarah swallowed hard. I have to know. Crying face. 4 days later, Lena's call came. Sarah, are you sitting down? Her voice was heavy, like she was carrying bad news. Sarah's throat tightened. Just tell me. Lena hesitated. I ran the test 3 times. The fetus, it has no genetic link to you. You're not the mother. Sarah's world tilted. That's not possible, she whispered, tears welling up. It's not natural, Lena said softly. The embryo was implanted in you, likely through in vitro fertilization. Someone did this to you, Sarah? Loudly crying face. Sarah's voice broke. Why? Why me? I don't know, Lena said. But you need to go to the police. Sarah shook her head, tears streaming down her face. They won't believe me. The hospital, they'll cover it up. They always do. Lena's voice softened. I'll keep the samples safe, in case you need them. But Sarah, be careful. This isn't small. Sarah met Jake at a corner coffee shop, her hands shaking around a glass of water. Jake, if I told you something crazy, would you believe me? Persevering face. Jake leaned forward, his eyes steady. Try me. I'm pregnant, Sarah said, her voice barely above a whisper. But the baby's not mine. It doesn't share my DNA. Someone put it in me. Jake's jaw dropped. Jesus, Sarah. That's insane. Do you have proof? Just the lab results, she said, her voice trembling. And a memory of passing out that night. There was a needle mark. I think someone at the hospital did this. Jake nodded slowly, his face grim. If this is true, you're not alone. We'll find evidence. I'll help you. That night, Sarah slipped into the hospital's tech room, using a keycard Jake had snuck her. Her heart pounded as she logged into the restricted server. Flushed face folders labeled Aurora Project glowed on the screen. She clicked one, her breath catching at the words, embryo trials. Female subjects, no family ties, stable profiles. Procedure requires sedation, no visible marks. Then she saw it, Subject 8, Sarah Mitchell, nurse, 28, no pregnancy history, lives alone. Her name, typed out like she was a lab rat. Her hands shook as she copied the files to a USB Jake had given her. Just before she logged out, she spotted a chart, 6 cases completed, no issues reported. Sarah's blood ran cold. I'm not the first, she whispered. Fearful face. The next morning, she met Emily at their favorite diner, the USB burning a hole in her pocket. I found it, she said, her voice low. It's called the Aurora Project. They're experimenting on women, implanting embryos without consent. I was one of them. Emily's hands trembled as she took the USB. This is a crime, Sarah. They used you. Crying face. Not just me, Sarah said. There are others, at least 5 women. Their records are gone, labeled as unstable or worse. Emily's eyes filled with tears. What are you going to do? Expose Hayes, Sarah said, her voice steady despite the fear. No matter what it takes. Emily nodded, her voice thick. I'm with you, Sarah. You're not alone. That evening, Sarah locked her apartment door, her hands shaking as she spread out the evidence, the USB, the DNA results, the ultrasound. Part of her wanted to scream, to tear it all apart. But another part, the stronger part, planned her next move. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Sarah, keep going, and you won't be safe. First warning. Face screaming in fear. She stared at the screen, her heart racing. Then she laughed, cold and defiant. Too late, she said. I'm not stopping. Emily's voice was frantic when they met in the locked nurse's break room the next day. Sarah, you have to listen, they're dangerous. Hayes didn't do this alone. Sad but relieved face. Sarah pulled out the USB. This has everything. Aurora Project details, subject lists, trial reports. Hayes's name is all over it. Emily's eyes widened. God, Sarah. Are you going to the police? Not yet, Sarah said. They'll destroy the evidence if I move too fast. I need something undeniable. Emily leaned back, her voice low. I'll help, but you have to be careful. They might know you have this. Sarah nodded, her gaze fierce. I've backed it up, 3 drives. One's with a tech friend, one's with my parents' lawyer, and one. I'm still deciding. Aurora Project, Emily murmured. Sounds like some sci-fi horror. It's real, Sarah said, her voice hard. And we're the victims. That night, alone in her apartment, Sarah opened the files again, reading each one like a map to a nightmare. One caught her eye, subject selection, single women, no close family, stable psychology, healthcare workers for easy access. Below her name, Sarah Mitchell, grade A match. Persevering face. Her fists clenched, her lips trembling. Monsters, she hissed. Then she found a video file, her heart stopping as she clicked play. Grainy footage showed the nurse's lounge, her body slumped on a couch. A figure in a white coat, face masked, injected something into her arm. The gestures were quick, precise, one hand on her forehead, the other sliding the needle in. She zoomed in, her stomach twisting. The figure wore a watch, just like Jake's. No, she gasped, shaking her head. It can't be. She texted Emily, her fingers trembling. Does Jake wear his watch on his right hand? Emily's reply came fast. Yeah, he's left-handed. Why? Sarah sat frozen, her mind screaming. Jake had helped her, given her the keycard. But what if? She pushed the thought away, refusing to believe it. The next morning, she found Jake in the med prep room, fiddling with a label printer. Morning, Jake, she said, keeping her voice light. He turned, smiling. Hey, feeling better? Yes, Sarah said, her eyes locked on his. Were you in the lounge the night of the 14th last month? Jake paused, his smile faltering. The 14th? Not sure. Why? There's footage, Sarah said slowly. A man in a white coat, masked, injecting me. He wore a watch on his right wrist. Like yours. Jake's eyes widened, then he laughed, nervous. Sarah, you think that's me? I just need to know, she said, her voice steady. He stared at her, then shook his head. I wasn't there. If you think I was, maybe we've got nothing more to say. Sarah looked away, hiding the storm in her chest. That afternoon, she went to the hospital's IT office, seeking deeper access. She approached Alex Reed, a quiet tech guy who'd helped her with printouts before. Alex, I need a favor, she said. Can you recover deleted files from a folder called Aurora Project? Alex raised an eyebrow, his voice low. You're digging into that? Sarah froze. You know about it? He nodded slightly. Just the name. We were told to wipe anything tied to it. Something felt off. Did you keep a backup? Sarah asked, her heart racing. Alex hesitated, then slid a USB across his desk. It's not complete, but there's enough to make you think twice. Be careful, Sarah. People tied to this, they don't stick around. Flushed face. Sarah's throat tightened. What do you mean? Fired, transferred, worse, Alex said, his voice barely a whisper. One guy disappeared. Another had a breakdown. Coincidences, right? Sarah took the USB, her hands cold. That night, she met Emily in a park near her apartment. I think Jake might be involved, she said, her voice shaking. Emily's eyes widened. No way. Jake's been helping you. I saw the video, Sarah said. The watch matches. And there's an initial JT in the injection logs. Emily frowned, thinking. Jake used to work in medical research before he came here. He'd know how to do something like this. Sarah's heart sank. I'm not confronting him yet. I need proof. Emily nodded. I know someone who can help, Rachel Cole, an investigative journalist. She exposes medical scandals. She's cautious, but I can get you to her. Sarah's eyes lit up. I need to meet her. Emily handed her a contact. Be careful, Sarah. Rachel's under watch, but she'll listen if you've got evidence. Back home, Sarah opened her laptop, her reflection pale in the screen. She began typing a journal, her fingers flying. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm pregnant, but the child isn't mine. I'm a victim of a medical experiment called the Aurora Project. Crying face. The next day, she went to Hayes's office, her heart pounding. He looked up, his smile thin. Sarah, I heard you've been busy. I need to talk, she said, her voice steady despite the fear. He gestured to a chair. I prefer to stand, she said, her eyes locked on his. Hayes raised an eyebrow but stayed silent. Sarah placed a USB on his desk. I've seen the Aurora Project files. Women injected with embryos without consent. I want to hear it from you, is it true? Hayes's face hardened, but he leaned back, fingers steepled. You think you've got it all figured out, don't you? I don't need to, Sarah said. I just need the truth. Hayes stood, locking the door with a click that made Sarah's blood run cold. I'm not denying it, he said, his voice calm. I run the project. But you're missing the point, Sarah. This isn't a crime, it's progress, persevering face. Progress. Sarah's voice rose. Forcing women to carry babies they didn't choose? That's monstrous. Hayes scoffed. Science always starts with sacrifice. You're special, Sarah, the first to carry a child created without eggs, without nature. You should be proud. You're insane, Sarah whispered, stepping back. Hayes's eyes gleamed. You can't win. I control everything, records, cameras, logs. Your little USB? It'll vanish, like you will if you keep this up. How many women? Sarah demanded, her voice shaking. How many have you done this to? 7 before you, Hayes said coldly. You're the 8th. The others? They broke, disappeared, or worse. The truth doesn't matter, Sarah. Power does. Sarah's tears burned, but she held his gaze. You won't get away with this. Hayes smirked. Who's going to believe you? A nurse claiming she's pregnant without sex? Go home, Sarah. Rest. You're pregnant, remember? She walked out, her legs trembling. Emily was waiting in the hallway, rushing to her side. Sarah, you're white as a sheet. What happened? Sad but relieved face. He admitted it, Sarah gasped. No shame, no fear. He said others were silenced. Emily's eyes widened. Oh my God. We need to get you out of here. That night, they sat in Sarah's apartment, curtains drawn tight. Sarah played a recording from a hidden mic she'd tucked in her coat. Hayes's voice echoed, You're special, Sarah, the first to carry a child created without nature. Face screaming in fear. Emily's jaw dropped. That's him. Clear as day. It's not enough, Sarah said, her voice fierce. I need his face, proof no one can deny. Emily nodded. I know someone, Mike Larson, ex-security guard. He worked the hospital cameras before they fired him. I think he saw something. Sarah's heart leaped. Can you get me to him? Emily scribbled a number. He's in Chicago, working nights at a parking lot. But Sarah, don't trust anyone too easily, not even Jake. Sarah's eyes darkened. I don't. Except you. The next day, Sarah waited at a dimly lit parking lot until Mike Larson appeared, a stocky man with a weary face. Mr. Larson, she called. He frowned. Who are you? Sarah Mitchell, nurse at Mercy General. I need to know, did the hospital cameras ever catch someone injecting staff without consent? Crying face. Mike glanced around, his voice low. Yeah. But those clips were erased. Then I got fired. Did you keep anything? Sarah asked, her heart racing. He hesitated, then handed her a USB. I didn't look, but I didn't delete it either. If you're brave enough, it's yours. Sarah took it, her hands trembling. Thank you. Mike's voice dropped. You're being watched, by a guard named Steven, Hayes's guy. And Jake Turner. Sarah froze, her chest tightening. Jake. Mike nodded. Survive first. He walked away, leaving her in the dark. Back home, Sarah plugged in Mike's USB, her laptop's glow the only light. A folder opened, grainy footage of the 5th-floor hallway. A figure in a white coat pushed a gurney, face masked. The video glitched, but Sarah zoomed in, a watch on the right wrist. Jake, she whispered, her heart sinking. Persevering face. Her phone buzzed, Emily, sounding panicked. Sarah, I can't reach Lisa. She was helping us, digging into the health department. Sarah's blood ran cold. Lisa? I thought she was in Seattle for training. She never showed, Emily said. Her apartment's trashed, her laptop's gone. Sarah collapsed onto the couch, her voice trembling. They're silencing us. We need to call the police, Emily said. Not yet, Sarah said, gripping the phone. They'll say I'm crazy. I need more. Emily's voice softened. Sarah, I think we're being watched. Sarah glanced at her windows, her heart racing. The next morning, she took her laptop to Alex in the tech office. Can you check for spyware? She asked, her voice low. Alex frowned, typing quickly. There's a script sending your files to a shady IP. High-level stuff, from inside the hospital. Flushed face. Sarah's throat tightened. Who could do that? Someone who's touched your laptop, Alex said. Or has remote access. Sarah's mind flashed to Jake. He'd borrowed her laptop weeks ago to fix a printer issue. She'd trusted him. "Remove it," she said, her voice hard. "And add protection." "It'll take hours," Alex said. "But I'll do it." That afternoon, Sarah visited Lisa's apartment, police tape across the door. Through a crack, she saw chaos, papers strewn, furniture tipped. The building's guard, an older man named Tom, approached. "Sarah, is it true? Lisa's gone." Sad but relieved face. "Yes," Sarah said, her voice thick. Tom frowned. "Two guys in maintenance uniforms were here night before last. Used a staff card. The hallway camera data? Gone after that." Sarah's fists clenched. "Thanks, Tom." Back home, she found her mailbox pried open, a blank paper inside. Under light, faint words appeared, "Keep quiet if you want to live." Face screaming in fear, her heart pounded as she called Emily. "They broke into my mailbox. Left a threat." Emily's voice shook. "You can't let them win, Sarah." "I won't," Sarah said, wiping tears. "No matter what." That night, she went to Mercy General one last time before taking leave. In the admin office, Carter watched her coldly. "Why are you here, Sarah? Your leave's filed." "Picking up documents," she said, her voice steady. "And saying goodbye." Carter's eyes narrowed. "You've changed. You used to be softer." "Soft doesn't survive," Sarah said, turning away. Back home, she split her evidence: DNA results, server files, Hayes' recording, Mike's footage, the note, into USBs. She labeled them for Lena, Alex, Emily, Rachel Cole, and her parents' lawyer, each coded, "If I'm gone, make this public." Crying face. Late at night, Sarah sat on her balcony, the city lights flickering below. The baby kicked, a tiny flutter. She placed her hand on her stomach, tears falling. "You're not mine, not like that," she whispered. "But I'll protect you, Cherry Blossom." At the HR office, she filed for 3 weeks leave. The clerk's eyes probed. "Health reasons." "Personal," Sarah said firmly, signing the form. Emily waited outside. "Done." "Done," Sarah said. "They're watching, but I'm ready." Emily's brother, a tech expert, had decoded more Aurora files. "It's a 3-phase plan," Emily said. "Selection, implantation, monitoring. They tracked your shifts, your breaks, even your personality, to pick the perfect target." Sarah shivered. "I wasn't a person to them. Just a vessel." Another name surfaced: Natalie Brooks, a nurse who'd resigned, labeled paranoid. "They erased her," Sarah said, her voice hard. "Like they're trying to erase me." When Sarah got home, her apartment was trashed. Persevering face, a photo of her and Lisa was gone, its frame shattered. The box with her USBs, stolen. She called Alex, her voice shaking. "I was robbed. Can you check my laptop for remote access?" "I'm coming over," Alex said. At her apartment, he found a listening device behind her fridge. "They were spying," he said, holding up a tiny black box. Face screaming in fear. Sarah's blood ran cold. Alex showed her a report: an IP tied to Jay Turner had accessed her files. "Jake," she whispered, her heart breaking. The next morning, she met Jake at a cafe, her voice calm despite the storm inside. "Jake, have you ever accessed my data?" He froze. "What are you talking about?" "My files," Sarah said. "Someone's been in my system. Your IP came up." Jake's eyes narrowed. "You've changed, Sarah. Seeing enemies everywhere." "Just answer me," she said, her voice steady. He smirked, leaning closer. "Maybe someone's framing me. But you should watch your step." Sarah stood, leaving her coffee untouched. That evening, Emily called, her voice urgent. A resident, Dr. Gabe Miller, reached out. "He's got Aurora documents." Sarah met Gabe at a dusty bookstore, his glasses fogging with nerves. He slid a USB across the table. "I analyzed DNA for a secret project," he whispered. "When I asked questions, they sidelined me. This is what I kept." Flushed face. Sarah took it, her heart racing. "Are the others alive?" Gabe shook his head. "Labeled unstable, locked away, or gone." Thank you, Sarah said, her voice thick. Gabe left quickly, his coat flapping. Emily frowned as they left. Sarah, you need to leave Chicago. No, Sarah said, her eyes fierce. If I run, they win. Her phone rang, an unknown number. A cold voice hissed, stop now or you're done. Sarah stayed silent, her heart pounding. Return what's not yours, the voice said. Click. Face screaming in fear. She checked her USBs, the one with Hayes's recording was gone. Someone was here, she told Emily, her voice shaking. No break-in, no trace. Emily frowned. Who has your key? Sarah's heart stopped. Jake. She confronted him at the hospital, his hands busy with patient records. Jake, have you been in my apartment? He scoffed. You're accusing me now? Something's missing, Sarah said. Only someone close would get in clean. Jake's eyes hardened. If you think I'm your enemy, Sarah, maybe you're right to be scared. That afternoon, walking home, Sarah noticed a black car parked for days. She snapped a photo, sending it to Alex. He replied, not registered to a person, tied to a security firm. Be careful. Persevering face. At home, she split her remaining evidence into envelopes for Emily, Alex, Rachel, and the lawyer, each labeled, if I vanish, release this. Another text came, watch your step, Sarah. She called Alex, her voice urgent. Can you encrypt my phone? He arrived, installing software. You're not safe alone, he said. Send it all to Rachel. I'm meeting her tomorrow, Sarah said, her voice firm. At a tucked-away cafe, Rachel Cole's sharp eyes scanned Sarah's envelope, files, footage, DNA results. This is huge, Rachel said, her voice low. But it's dangerous. You ready? Crying face. I am, Sarah said, her heart steady. That night, she lay awake, the baby kicking softly. You're my proof, she whispered. They can't take that away. Cherry Blossom. At 6 a.m., Rachel called, her voice electric. It's verified, everything. The story's hitting the Chicago Sun-Times at 9. Sarah jumped up, her heart soaring. At 9 a.m., the headline screamed, Aurora Project, Mercy General's Dark Experiment. Hayes's face was everywhere, the files laid bare. Chicago erupted, protests, news vans, outrage. Face with open mouth. By noon, Hayes was arrested, cameras flashing as he was cuffed. Sarah watched, tears falling. Alex texted, they found Lisa, safe, just scared. Relief flooded her. Rachel called, Hayes isn't alone. Others are involved. I'm ready, Sarah said, her voice fierce. The trial was chaos. Sarah took the stand, her voice clear. I was a nurse, not a lab rat, she said, staring at Hayes. No one can claim a woman's body. Crying face applause echoed. Hayes's lawyer faltered against the evidence, files, footage, her testimony. On the final day, the judge's voice rang out, Vincent Hayes, guilty. 25 years. Smiling face with smiling eyes, the courtroom cheered. Emily hugged Sarah, tears streaming. You did it. Outside, Rachel guided Sarah through reporters. I'm no hero, Sarah told them. I just spoke the truth. Months later, Sarah held her daughter, Lily, sunlight warming her apartment. Smiling face with smiling eyes, Emily sat nearby, grinning. She's got your spirit. Rachel knocked, holding a journal. Your speech at the Ethics Summit, standing ovation. Sarah smiled softly. I just told the truth. In the park, people nodded, some whispering, that's Sarah. A girl gave her a rose. You're brave, she said. Sarah knelt, smiling. Thank you. Smiling face with smiling eyes. She looked at Lily, the breeze carrying hope. We survived, she whispered. And we'll keep fighting. Sarah's story isn't just hers, it's for every woman silenced, every truth buried. One voice, trembling but true, can change everything. Glowing star, if this moved you, share it. Let's keep the fight alive.